a really exciting build, and we're super excited to talk about, what the plan is, where you can expect to see this car. It's just going to be an all-out, full-blown ZL1 track car build, and we were pretty confident it was one of the baddest track Camaros in the country before, and now it's just going completely off the chart. We got with our friends at Late Model Engine LME, and we spec'd out a 427 cubic inch LT1 or LT4, fully dry sleeved, all the best parts. We decided to go with CID cylinder heads with LME's porting, just because the factory heads are good and they're great for what they are, but when you start pushing limits like we are with this setup, we want to make sure we get the best components and the best pieces in place to run it. We will be putting the Edelbrock 2650 back on it. We had that supercharger ported by Kong that was on before. It's going back on. It's going to have the Crawford port injection still. We're still running our JDP low side fuel system with the LPE high side. So what we're expecting with this new engine combination is, greater reliability. Although the stock bottom end LT4 has been solid in this car for 2 years. Tons of track miles, tons of track events, and never an issue. So we were very pleased with that. But with the interest of going to the next level and trying to turn boost up and trying to make it live on the road for us in that type of environment, we decided that an LME 427 was going to be the best way to go. So as exciting as that engine package is, and it's going to be around 1,400 horsepower with the crankshaft is what we're shooting for. But as exciting as that is, we're actually putting an RTS 6-speed sequential in this car. It's a full billet aluminum case, CNC billet aluminum, just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. And our friends at X Engineering have created our, rev match, and all of our shipped control will be done through X Engineering. We've worked with them on several other projects. They've been awesome to work with. They make a great product, and we're really looking forward to incorporating that into this car. One of the other major things that we're doing, and we're completely, as you guys can see, we completely gutted this entire car. It's basically a body in white at this point. We're going to remove additional wiring and do some more stuff for weight reduction, including Anderson composite doors. We've got Lexan front and rear windshield and rear window coming. We're just going to try to get this car as light as we physically can. And, we think that we're shooting to have it around 3,600 pounds with driver. But that's a pretty lofty goal, because part of our program here is we're actually installing a complete roll cage in the car. We're custom building it. We're building it to NASA spec, but it should work for SCCA and the other sanctioning bodies we plan on running this car in. This car in its previous form was doing 180 miles an hour down the front straightaway at UMC, which is one of the fastest cars on the track. Street car or track car, doesn't matter. And we expected a sequential and additional 200 horsepower, that the car is probably going to be somewhere in the 186 to 190 range at the end of that straightaway. And it's just not worth it to not have the safety equipment in place. We're going to have a fire system in the car. We're going to have roll cage in the car. Again, completely gutted. We're putting a containment seat in for John, just to keep him safer. This is big boy stuff. This car is going to be one of the fastest cars out there, and we want to make sure that John's safe, and that's of the utmost importance to us. Having a fast car is great and everything, but if you're not safe, then that's a big problem. And I think more people should take safety seriously. We had an incident at the end of last year in our car, not a wreck incident. You'll hear more about that later. But fire systems are definitely important to have. And going forward, any of our full-blown track car development stuff will have, suppression systems built in. A couple of other things that we're going to do while we're kind of through this process, we went ahead and sent the JRI, Detroit Speed, JDP, double adjustables back over to Ultimate Performance to have JJ work his magic. We're going to revalve everything. We're actually going to change spring rates. We're going to change some of the valving. The car is going to be lighter. It's going to make way more downforce, and I haven't gotten to that part yet. So we wanted to go through the shock package, make sure everything's fresh and clean, make sure everything's ready to go. So JJ is working his magic on those, and we've had 10 years of success with those shocks in various Camaro platforms and Corvette platforms, and JJ's just amazing at what he does, and we'll always use him for that portion of our process. He's been amazing to work with, and you can get all the JDP, Ultimate Performance, JRI, DSE spec stuff directly through us. We've got discounts, and we're happy to share setup notes and all that good stuff to help you get going. So if you want a winning package, definitely hit us up on that. One of the other really cool things that we're working on for this car right now is we're working on doing a true wing. One of the things you'll see on Bernice's coming year is we've got a swan neck wing from Bearcloth, and we've been trying to get them to develop or build a similar setup for this platform, and it was planned for this winter off season, but I'm still crossing my fingers and hoping they'll be able to get that project done for us. But if not, we'll find a different solution. But we got to get as much downforce in this car as we can, because in the world of NASA, for time trial and both time trial and wheel to wheel, John plans on running super on the Linder FCU, and that means he's running against Radicals and the Audis and the Ferraris and all the other big power cars that run NASA. So on the straightaway, John's never had an issue keeping up with people, but on in the handling cornering department, getting the car loaded up, getting the car through the corner, that's where he gives them time. That's where he gives them time to release. You always catch the release straight, and you always get him back up in the corner. So with this new combination, with all this new stuff that we're doing, it's going to really be awesome car. A couple of other things we're gonna do is we're gonna freshen up. We went to the ATSX racing brake package on this car about a year and a half ago. So we're just going to go through and make sure all that stuff's tuned up, nut and bolt, everything. We're going to get spare parts for pretty much any kind of consumable type thing. The last NASA event of 2020, we actually had an idler pulley fail on Friday, test day, before the event. And, it's a simple part, it's an OEM part, but nobody had it locally, so we were scrambling and we were able to find one. But going forward, we're going to make sure we've got spares for all the key parts and all the stuff that we know breaks just through our testing and development. And again, that's stuff that we learn and that we pass on to you guys, the customers, the end users. We spend all the time developing this and doing the R&D so that we can give you guys packages that are proven and tested, and you know what you're going to get, and you know what the results are. So tons of exciting stuff here. ARE dry sump setup. I mean, this is the only 6th-gen Camaro in the country that actually utilized that system, and we were the first ones to do it, and we did all the development work, from custom fabricating mounting brackets and tank placement to utilizing the highest quality lines and hoses we could from XRP. We got a crimper, so we crimped every connection. There's cleaner OEM quality, connections, just gorgeous stuff. It's the details that people don't really, truly appreciate or understand sometimes, but it's also those details that win championships and that get you, to the top of the podium where you want to be. So through this modification, what we're planning on doing is we're probably going to take this tank. Now we're going to go, we're going to add a couple inches to it, and we're either going to leave it here and go down through the pan, or we're actually talking about moving it up to the passenger side of the car, along with our ice tank, our water tank for the heat exchanger, because we think we can go with a bigger tank and move it up front and just kind of change where our weight's at and things like that, and do a little bit more chassis tuning that way, as well as adding additional capacity to both the oiling and the cooling system. But we've got a ton of awesome stuff planned for this car, so hopefully you guys will follow along as we build. Each step we go through the process, we'll try our best to document. The forums have kind of died, as many of you guys know, and social media's kind of taken over. I feel like with recent events that you're going to maybe see a resurgence in forums again, and the social media stuff might taper off, which, I kind of like the good old days of the forums because information was there. People could find it. The same question wasn't asked 450 times. It was a good place and a good scene. And if people were out of line, they got taken out. And, in social media, there's a lot of armchair warriors and stuff like that out there. And I think that we'll see kind of a change, in that landscape as we move forward. But we'll work on getting documentation. We'll likely post it up on the forum when we get this one done, just because it's such an awesome build. There's going to be so much detail and so much thought, and so many firsts in this car. The plan will be to run NASA. We've signed up for the Ultimate Street Car Association event at UMC at our home track. The car will no longer be in GT. For all you guys wondering out there, it's going to be an outlaw car. With our weight reduction mods, with our aero mods, and with the safety and everything else we're putting in this car, it's just not going to really fit into the GT class anymore. John had a very successful year in 2020 in GT. He won his invite early. We didn't go to the Invitational just because it was in CODA, and logistically and with COVID and everything else, we just decided it would be better to stay here. And we started planning this build around that time. And we just wanted to get the ball rolling and get ready for 2021, because we're hoping 2021 is a lot better than 2020 in terms of racing and enthusiasts going to events and having fun. We had a phenomenal year in 2020 as a company, and we're very blessed for that, obviously. And 2021 has been no different so far. I mean, we're booking into the end of March right now. We've got a ton of work. We've got a lot of awesome projects coming up. This is going to be probably the coolest project of 2021, in my opinion, though. Just because this is a no holds barred, like, we are building the baddest Camaro Z01 on the planet. And that's the intention and that's the goal. Whether or not it happens, you know, somebody might come out there and do something to try to one up us, and that's awesome if they do. I'm really hoping to get this car up to some half-mile events also, and just kind of see what it'll do. It'll never be a quarter-mile car. It's just not designed for it. It's just not set up for it. But half-mile stuff, I think that it'd be fun to go out there and see if we can get up in the 190, 200 mile an hour range. So anyhow, that's what we got on this project. Any of you guys have questions, leave a comment in the video thread, and we'll answer back the best we can. We appreciate everybody's support. Thank you guys. Be blessed and stay safe.